Hello, and welcome back to La Jolla Babylon, Season 3, The Undoing of a Suburban Punk, a podcast where I read stories of my extended Gen X adolescence to my coddled millennial little sister, writer, actor, and comedian, Katie Hartman. I'm your host, Aaron Hartman, and if you like what you hear, the best thing you could do is to please share this podcast with someone who you think will like it too. Okay, here we go.
All right.
If you say so.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Katie.
You want to start us off?
Welcome back to yet another episode of La Jolla Babylon, Season 3.
Susan Trace.
Hey, so you have two options today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we can go chronological.
Okay.
Or we can do the material that we were going to do for the live show, and we can just pretend like it's a live show.
We can't pretend it's a live show.
Actually, some of my favorite records are fake live shows. Lou Rawls Live, one of the best records. They recorded it in a studio with a fake audience. That Beach Boys party album, they just like, it was just like them sitting around with acoustic guitars, and then they sprinkled in some like a fake party in the background.
I'm telling you, you can list off as many things as you want. It's not gonna make me be like, yeah.
No, but we could record this and then just like pause for, laughter.
Yeah, and then I'll send you a bunch of tracks of just layered me and David being like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh
No, his dick is out. Is that supposed to be happening? Don't worry, folks. It wasn't live. Don't you worry.
Fourth wall over here.
Well, I'll tell you, it is very hot in this closet right now.
Okay.
It probably wouldn't behoove us for me to sit here and listen to you read to me.
No. I'm not. No, it's already I recorded it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Oh God, no. Are you kidding? I the fact that I got out of having to read live was one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life.
Yeah,
like,
I guess we never really told the audience that you called me essentially being like, what if we don't do it live? And I was like, no, we're doing it.
Yes.
And then it ended up not happening because you gave your wife COVID.
I did not give her COVID.
I'm sorry, that you made your wife get COVID so you wouldn't have to come over here and do the show live.
I injected her with COVID.
Try to balance it out with ivermectin.
She's
in a coma now, but
drug.
You know what? It's worth it. It's all worth it that he didn't have to read in public.
So
I'll let you decide. I'll let you decide.
I think we should do the material that we were going to do live. I think
great.
I think it'll be really fun. It's a longer listen. It's like more like a 24-minute listen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which is good. This season, it's mostly kind of like one chapter kind of things. And I actually really had to, I edited it down to only 24 minutes because of the live nature of it. And so there may be some things that I'll have to kind of like fill you in on the other end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me and the audience?
Yeah, the whole audience. Yeah.
Whole audience right in front of us right now?
Audience, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a juicy episode. And I know this is, maybe you don't want to listen to this one. Maybe this isn't the thing that you want to do right now.
So what? So then should I choose the other thing? You're not selling it to me very well. In fact, you're making me rethink this whole podcast.
I know. Well, I mean, this is what we have been calling the porn episode. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But you were also going to read this in front of people.
I was, and luckily, I didn't have to.
Right.
And
luckily for you, but I feel like for me, it would have been easier to ingest in front of people.
I know it's true.
Is that the bad word to use right now? Ingest.
And I also don't think it is what you are imagining, but
I also don't think I'm not. I know that you would never put me in a terrible position.
No.
Right? Is that also a terrible phrase to use right now?
Let's just move forward. Let's just keep this tight. Nope.
Oh, let's keep it floppy and loose.
I'm glad that we're not uncomfortable with the material. So there may be some questions that you have at the end, and I'll be happy to avoid those questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. La Jolla Babylon Live. WOLFIE. It was my freshman year at Evergreen, and third quarter, I talked my way into a class called Liberation Movements and Terrorist Organizations. Our teacher was a badass political exile from South Africa, and I was going to be an instrument to effect social change. We mainly watched movies about people who were instruments of social change, while he talked on the phone in his office, negotiating his book deal. We watched Gandhi, A Dry White Season, Biko, and the Battle for Algiers. A few classmates would leave after the lights went down, but I was just considering myself a film guy, so I absorbed it all. Plus, there was a cute girl who went by WOLFIE, who always watched the videos laying on the carpeted floor. We would sometimes position ourselves next to each other. Sometimes our feet would touch, or our fingers would brush each other's arms while stretching. No big deal. WOLFIE was hilarious. She worked at the Corner Cafe, the cult-like vegetarian restaurant which was the only place to buy a hot meal on campus after 5 p.m. I would sometimes wash dishes for food credit and eat their undercooked beans and rice, or 2 garlicky cream cheese on thick slices of brown bread. The employees were all artists and musicians, and all of them were cute. Getting preferential treatment at the Corner was one of the first rites of passage at Evergreen. If they threw an extra dollop of sour cream onto your burrito, it was like getting a backstage pass. The final assignment in class was to team up with someone and write a term paper on a liberation movement somewhere in the world in the last 20 years. WOLFIE and I got drinks and talked about what to do. We met at King Solomon's Reef downtown and drank dollar whiskeys at happy hour. She still lived on campus. How do you know about this place? I never come downtown. I guess I come here a lot. They make pretty good food if you like diners, and they don't card. WOLFIE looked at me, eyes twinkling. How old are you, Buster? I'm 20. What about you? 22. Old as the trees. I traveled for a few years after high school. You should come to my dorm sometime. I'll show you my shadow puppets from Indonesia. I wanted very much to see WOLFIE's shadow puppets. We decided to do our term paper on the Palestinian Intifada. We figured we should watch Lawrence of Arabia at my house, in my room, on my bed, after some wine. And we were making out by the time Peter O'Toole blows out that match. WOLFIE was the third girl I'd ever kissed, and the first girl I was alone with since high school. I was nervous about getting into it with her, but she was generous with her body and put herself on top of me way before I would have thought to touch her like that. WOLFIE bit my ear and whispered, I like how you would accidentally touch my foot in class. I know you did it on purpose. I only let you get away with it because I thought you were cute. Otherwise, it'd be creepy. I finally got to see her dorm with the Indonesian puppets. She had replaced the state-supplied curtains with fabrics she had picked up in Thailand. There was a shrine with chicken bones, Indian goddesses, a button from a dead lover's shirt, and the inner sleeve from Ani DeFranco's first CD. WOLFIE cracked the window and lit an American spirit and knelt at the shrine. Tobacco is a sacred herb, but it has been corrupted by mass consumption into the mass culture. I smoke this tobacco in honor of my foremothers. Do you want to say anything to the spirits, Adam? Her dorm was tucked between tall pine trees with low bending branches that brushed the needle-covered roof. As often happened during winter days in Olympia, when she opened her curtains, the room got darker. Department of Corrections. Wolfie planned to spend the summer at home in Connecticut. I spent that summer fucking off and cleaning the Soviet-style 6-story Department of Corrections building in downtown Olympia. I would arrive after the staff went home at 5 and work until 10, Monday through Friday. My crew was a woman named Cecile and a man named Larry, a self-described ufologist who called himself the foreman. We were a force to be reckoned with. They were both about 50. She was very short. He was very large. If we were cartoon characters, she would be a spastic mouse, ducking and weaving, talking nonstop in manic, high-pitched tones. He would be a big hound dog, mopey, and a little punch-drunk. I'm not self-aware enough to know what cartoon animal I would have been. I always took my dinner breaks alone, across the street, on a bench by the man-made lake overlooking the Capitol building. The summer sun still hanging high at 8 p.m. There were aggressive ducks and geese who would crowd me with more and more familiarity as I became a regular fixture. I knew not to feed them, but I did anyway. In fact, I mostly fed one goose in particular who seemed to be the runt of the gaggle. At first, I would toss the little guy crusts of bread for my PB&Js. I learned to recognize him and would pitch the bread just out of reach of the others so he could have it to himself. Over the weeks, I noticed the other birds teaming up against my goose, pecking at his backside, keeping him in his place. I never wanted to go back to work after eating. Every single evening, I contemplated jumping on my bike and going home, but I never did. I would swing back into the lunchroom, load up my vacuum, and head back into the elevator with Larry and Cecile. I called Wolfie a bunch over the first few weeks that summer, eager to tell her about the weirdos I was working with. I used a calling card my dad had given me and would make the long-distance calls from my too-hot apartment. She was usually just up from a nap or thinking about taking a shower. We never talked more than a few minutes, and she never called me. I was starting to think she may not be my girlfriend in the way I thought she was. Without totally understanding the concept of passive aggression, I decided to ask her something before hanging up one Sunday afternoon. I told myself if she could not answer straight, I was going to break up with her. "Hey, Wolfie, can I ask you something? Can I trust you?" "What do you mean?" "Just that. Can I trust you? I just want to know." "Are you asking me if I sleep with other people?" "I don't feel comfortable answering that right now." "No, I'm really just asking if I can trust you, like, literally." And with that, Wolfie ended the conversation by suggesting I read some Milan Kundera and mellow out. When she returned to Olympia, Wolfie and I had sex within the hour. I really wanted her to orgasm, but she did not. She once told me there was only one guy who ever made her come, and she was on acid at the time. Girls, she said, were better at it than boys. That night, some of her hippie friends threw a party on the other side of town, close to school. There were tofu dogs on the grill, Tribe Called Quest on the tape deck, and tequila bottles cluttering the kitchen table. I wasn't really a drinker, but I was bored and took someone up on shots. I refused the lime and salt and did not make a face like they do in the movies. I also did not feel anything. Maybe tequila didn't work on me. 2 hours later, I was alone on the couch, watching the TV spin, not totally sure what was going on. I snapped out of it and realized I needed to get the fuck out of that house. The sun had gone down, and aside from a few people smoking on the front porch, the party had ended. I went to the bathroom and heard a familiar sound. I wandered around the house, but the rooms were all empty. I stumbled back into the bathroom and could hear WOLFIE groaning with pleasure, as she had with me earlier that day. I reached over the clawfoot tub, bent the slats to the blinds, and could see a spread blanket with WOLFIE on her back, being gone down upon by the girlfriend of the couple whose house it was. The boyfriend was fucking the girlfriend from behind. It took me a few seconds to fully understand what I was watching. Like when you stub your toe really bad, your brain needs a moment to adjust to the pain you're about to feel. The next thing I knew, I was driving, drunk as shit, out of the gravel driveway. I can see how people die in these situations. I've driven hundreds of thousands of miles since then, and I can feel my palms sweat as I think about those 2 idiotic miles. I knocked on Carlos and Carly's door and told them what happened. I had known them since my first day at Evergreen. Carly brought me water, and Carlos brought me a pillow. I curled up on the foot of their bed like a puppy and passed out until dawn. When I woke up, I walked to campus and registered for my second year of college. I waited a week and made a date to meet WOLFIE at my special dinner bench near Capitol Lake. I wanted to be in familiar territory that appeared to be neutral. She approached, hands folded, eyes down, and sat next to me. I spoke first. I don't ever want to see you again. I thought you were my girlfriend. You did not respect my heart. I looked at her for the first time, and she wiped her eyes. I was winning. I decided to go big. Oh, come on. Don't fucking cry. She looked up at me, clear-eyed. I'm not crying. It was true. She wasn't. I have nothing to cry about, and I have nothing to be sorry for. I never said I wouldn't sleep with other people. If you brought me here to yell at me, you can fucking forget it. She stood up, tied her scarf like a French actress, and walked away. I sat there alone with the oncoming geese. Filmmaking. Fast forward 3 years. I got into the competitive, year-long filmmaking class at Evergreen. One of our third quarter projects was to interview a living performance artist and present their work to class. I did mine on Annie Sprinkle. I looked her up in the Manhattan phone book using the microfiche at the school library. She was listed as Sprinkle, Annie. I left her a message asking for an interview, telling her to call me collect at her convenience. The phone rang early the next morning, and I was totally unprepared. No pen or paper in sight, and I couldn't think of a single good question when she was on the line. I asked her what she would suggest a young person interested in the weird side of filmmaking should do. She said, I should make a porn. I told her I didn't like porn. She said, Great, then you should definitely make one. That's your assignment. My teacher, a very cool, middle-aged, feminist, experimental documentarian, asked me to please not make a porn. Each student in fourth quarter of film class needed to complete one movie to be shown during a festival on campus in June. There were 16 of us, and by spring we were a tight-knit group, many of us working on lights, acting in, and otherwise producing each other's films. And of course, Several romantic geometric shapes came and went along the way. I wrote a script that reimagined moments in my life where sex or something sexual made things weird. My idea was to make an unsexy porn that sort of happens around a me character who's stumbling around, grudgingly dealing with it all. I had 2 friends who were up for having sex in front of a camera. They had no inhibitions and were game for whatever. Simone was a whopping 29 years old, ancient to the rest of us. She had a way of looking at you that made you feel like anything might happen at any point, including having sex. Her boyfriend, Billy, lived in the same punk house as a few of my friends. He worked some construction jobs, but drank too much and would get fired every so often. He was a great representative of the nihilism of the time. He was gorgeous and hated himself. My plan was to use them as foils for the me character, who would be running into different versions of them in increasingly uncomfortable scenarios. I hired a friend to play me. Rafael was Filipino and much more athletic and handsome than I was, and I knew he would be photogenic. I needed one more person to have sex on film. Rachel Stone told me a woman she worked with would be happy to pose naked, have sex, or do anything else in front of a camera. Her name was CJ. She was the star of the women's rugby team, and she scared me a little. I reached her at work and told her about the movie. Here's how that call went. Hi, CJ. This is Adam Waxman. I'm friends with Rachel Stone. I think she told you I was going to call. She's helping me make this movie where people have sex on camera, and she said that you might... Yeah, I know. Okay, cool. So basically, there's a scene in a backyard, and I'll make sure it's totally private, just you, the other actors, and me behind the camera. Basically, you'll be on your back. Simone will go down on you. And Billy will fuck her from behind. And another character, more or less playing me, will sort of walk in on you guys. It's basically revisiting a thing that happened to me a few years ago. She said, Great. When do we start? I put the phone back in its cradle in a full sweat. CJ told me later she hung up and turned to her coworker and told her about the project. Her coworker said, Dude, you're playing me. Olympia was getting too small. Here's the backstory to another scenario I shot. My band's first show outside of Olympia was at a bar in Seattle. I drove myself and my upright bass in my little car. After the show, I was going to drink some water before the hour-long drive home. I was a little buzzed, and the bar was full of good-looking, interesting-seeming people. I sat down at a table of 7 or 8 hipsters in their mid-20s. There were a bunch of boys and 2 girls. They were laughing and smoking, and I sat down at an empty seat next to a beautiful woman. A couple of the guys were doing parlor tricks, pretty good ones. This happened to be around the time I was getting into sleight of hand stuff, and I was able to move quarters from one hand to another and make silk scarves disappear and reappear. Super hot. The woman, her name was Artemis, looked at me and smiled. Who are you? She asked if I would drive her home, and one of the boys yelled from across the table, What? Seriously? The other girl at the table stood up and got in my face. If anything happens to her, I'll find you and kill you. I grabbed my bass from the little stage area where my band had played, and Artemis and I got into my car. She had to sit in the back since my bass took up so much space. She made us tea, and we sat in her living room. I was on the couch. She was on a wingback chair a few feet from me. This was all new to me. I had never been taken home by anyone. In fact, I had never kissed anyone I wasn't officially dating. We asked each other more and more personal questions. I wish I could say I remember a single thing about her. What I remember is that I liked her a lot. I could not understand why she was sitting on the chair. There was so much space between us. I gathered myself and asked if she wanted to sit on the couch. She moved next to me, and we held hands for a while, getting closer and closer. We kissed, and it was nice. Not hugely passionate, but sweet. Still, visions of commuting from Olympia to Seattle to see my new girlfriend entered my bloodstream. We heard jangling at the door, and her roommate came in, the same one who warned me not to murder Artemis. She was with someone who may or may not have been at the table with us earlier. They were both smoking cigarettes. She called to us, "Oh good, you're not dead. What's up, new guy?" And she shut her bedroom door. Artemis told me, "They won't come out again." And we kissed some more. Within a few minutes, the sounds from behind the door were getting louder. Groaning was part of it, but a squeaky bed and some choice phrases changed the mood entirely. We had been on the couch together for a while. It was closing in on 3 a.m. Their performance put our sweet kissing in sharp relief. It was like sitting at a table eating Cheerios while your friend tucks into a juicy steak. We were both turned on and embarrassed. Our petting got heavier, but when I suggested we move to her room, she said, "No, maybe next time." She got up and brought me some blankets and a glass of water. "Sorry about Denise. I guess she's kind of loud. They'll be done soon." I laid down and she kissed my forehead. "If you want, we can get breakfast in the morning." She turned the light off and I finished masturbating before she finished brushing her teeth. In the morning, we wrote our phone numbers on pieces of paper. As we left to get delicious pastries, I swiped the paper with my number on it off the kitchen table and expertly stuffed it in my pocket. I have no idea why I did that. The way I reenacted this moment was to have Raphael and CJ holding hands and talking in one room, and to have Billy and Simone fucking in another room in a way that contrasted to the chaste conversation. I wanted to shoot the scene from above, showing one couple quietly flirting, then panning the camera Scorsese-like to show an entirely different world of debauched carnality. I knew one place where 2 rooms were separated by a 3/4 wall I could sit on top of with my Super 8 camera. The VHS editing suites in the basement of the Evergreen Library. I just needed to reserve all 6 editing booths for the entire night, unplug all the gear from 2 of the rooms, store them somewhere, decorate the empty suites like legitimate bedrooms, and convince a dozen or so people to stay up all night working for free. I disassembled my own bedroom and borrowed lamps, posters, and a few pieces of furniture from my roommate and got to work. The whole thing was haphazard. I had enough film to do 1 take of each shot, and I barely knew how to pull focus. Meanwhile, Simone and Billy arrived on time but drunk, which was fine. Simone showed me the pink dildo she was going to fuck Billy with, and Billy winked at me. Simone told me she was on her period, but she and Billy didn't mind fucking. Plus, they knew how much work I was putting into this. "Oh, I'm so sorry, Waxman. It's pretty heavy. Is it gonna fuck up your little porno?" I said it didn't make a difference to me, and it should be fine for the movie. What I had not accounted for was the smell. It's hard to describe how much it unexpectedly affected the vibe in the room. We were in the basement with hot lights and lots of bodies, and I do not believe there was much in the way of ventilation. I shot the scenes, got them developed, and lost my bag containing 75% of my footage. After weeks of frantic searching, I got a call from the guy who found it. He wanted to meet me at his church. He said, "I almost threw it in the trash, 'cause that's what this is." He was holding my bag and did that thing where he extended it toward me, and right before I took it from his hand, he dropped it on the ground. I peeked inside and saw the unspooled film filling up my bag chaotically, and I walked away very quickly. I didn't have time to finish the movie before school ended. I had to avoid CJ for years. She started asking about the movie as a joke at first, and then, as time went on, she became clearly annoyed and eventually, legitimately, angry. Hey, Waxman, so did I fuck some strangers in front of you for nothing? You ever gonna finish that porno? What the fuck? When I tell this story, people always ask why I never finished the movie once I got the footage back. School credit or no school credit. And I don't really have an answer. The unseen reels of film still live in a plastic tote in my basement. I'm currently being assessed for ADHD. I'm not totally convinced I have it, but it's stories like this one that get me thinking. There are so many parts of my life where I work so hard on something and then blow it, leaving dangling strings, never to be tied up. I sometimes think about what my life would have been like if this ability to fuck things up so thoroughly wasn't a part of my fabric. Think about it. If I hadn't lost that bag and lost the thread, we'd all be watching a porn together right now.
Wow, the audience loved it.
Welcome back.
The full audience loved it. My first
roars, cheers.
Cheers.
Jeers.
The first thing I wrote down was, I did not think the porn episode would start in a liberation movement and terrorist organizations class.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think porn comes from? Porn for college credit, that is.
Yes. What a ride. What a ride. Yeah. How do you feel right now?
I feel good. You know, like it wasn't as gruesome as you thought it was going to be, right?
No, I didn't really. I trust you in a way that I didn't think you'd put me like in a place that I'd had to be like, I don't want to listen to this.
I know there's one line that I was like, is this too much or not? And I read it to my wife Alicia, and I could see her response to the line. I wonder if you.
What, that I finished masturbating
yes,
before she fucking brushed her teeth or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I definitely was on my couch, went like this, ugh.
Dull.
My husband's next to me being like, oh yeah? I was like, I don't even want to. No, it's fine. It's funny. It's funny. It's one of those details. I also loved Indonesian shadow puppets. And the phrase being gone down upon is a lyric for the ages. You should put that in something. Very funny.
I'm glad you took notes. That means a lot.
I often take notes. I just sometimes don't pull them out. Well, it was a longer episode. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah,
I also just kept thinking to myself, it was the 90s.
So the 90s.
The 90s. The sleight of hand in a bar.
Oh, can I just, so I cut out this whole thing about Annie Sprinkle where I sort of explain who she was and sort of how I was introduced to her. Can I just explain that real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Had you ever heard of her?
I like very vaguely, but then I Googled her while I was listening to it.
Got it. Okay. So, she was this famous kind of performance artist. She comes from the sex worker community and made some really amazing movies and had this live show. And one of the things in her live show, probably her most famous thing, is something she called her public cervix announcement, where she would actually get on a table, put her feet in stirrups, use a specula to open herself up.
God dang.
And the audience would basically form a line with a flashlight. And she's like, yeah, you want to look at my cervix?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was like one of her things. The way I was first introduced to her was I was at the Olympia International Film Festival, which was this outsized festival where we would get these huge kind of underground filmmakers to come to this tiny little town like, maybe you may not have heard of any of these people, but they were sort of heroes to a lot of us nerds. But like Paul Morrissey, who did all those Andy Warhol movies, Russ Meyer, who did all those kind of like sexploitation movies, the brothers Quay, who did these like really weird animations. Alejandro Jodorowsky came. Kenneth Anger came.
Oh yeah, okay. I know those two last ones. Yeah,
these huge underground filmmakers would come and present their like movies, right?
The only trivia that I know about how do you pronounce his name? Alejandro Jodorowsky. Yeah, okay. Is that apparently like George Harrison was supposed to star in either Holy Mountain or whatever the other one was, El Topo, right?
Whoa.
I think it was
Really?
I think it was Holy Mountain, but he didn't want to show his butthole.
Yeah.
And so he didn't.
He started him. Right. Wow. Because I think Jodorowsky stars in those movies himself.
I mean, it makes sense.
So those movies, El Topo and Holy Mountain, were banned in the United States when they were first made. And the copies that we saw in 1995 when he came to Olympia it was the first time anyone in America had seen those movies.
Wow.
On film. And here's the thing. He thought he was in Washington, D.C.
That is incredible.
He got tricked into coming to Olympia because he thought someone told him the capital of Washington. And he was like, oh, I'll definitely come to the capital of Washington to show my, prints, like, physical prints of these special movies.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, and all of us in the audience were just like, what the fuck is happening?
What is this? Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the audience for some movie, and there are always shorts before the main feature. And someone had slipped in this video of hers that she had done, that Annie Sprinkle had done. And this is not one of her famous things. And it was this raw footage. And I wrote about this and I deleted this, or I took this out of the thing just because it like was this whole like two-page diversion, Mm-hmm. But it was like, she's in the back of a van and she's sort of pretending like someone's asking her to take her clothes off. She's like, you want me to take my clothes off? And so there's a little dog in the back of the van with her, and it basically kind of like does some things to her for a very long time.
Oh my God.
And it's raw. It's like, it's unedited.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's probably like 5 solid minutes of this dog and her, and she's kind of getting increasingly aroused. Meanwhile, like the camera kind of like pans from that to like outside the van window, and this is like parked on some street in Manhattan. You know what I mean?
And you were like, this is the woman who's going to tell me exactly what I need to make.
No. So and then what I did was, for my class to present some of her work, I actually did this very kind of intricate intra-college purchase thing where I had Evergreen buy this videotape of this movie that she made called Linda, Les, and Annie, which was this amazing documentary she made where a friend of hers transitioned from female to male and wanted to have sex with someone as a male and wanted to sort of like present this as a movie to sort of like help other recently transitioned people feel more comfortable.
Oh, wow.
And asked Annie to be his first. And it's like this beautiful, super intense, like 20-minute documentary. And so I showed that to the class and sort of, presented her work a little bit. That's also when I explained that my fourth quarter project was going to be this porn that Annie had assigned me.
Yeah, who assigned you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I also hate that you were like, I know where I could shoot this. The editing rooms in my school.
Yeah.
That whole situation was fucking insane.
Yeah.
The period stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what did you just not get credit for the class?
Okay, so what I did, and I also wrote about this and I took this out, is I had some footage. Like I lost a lot of it, but I had enough footage that I could make a 2.5-minute trailer. So I was able to have enough footage to get the credit, but I was also doing enough like lights and producing and music for other people in the class that I got full credit.
Got it. And so do you know in the end where you left that the footage that this guy found?
Yeah, at a garage sale. I had just I had taken off my backpack or my shoulder bag.
Oh my God.
To try on a jacket or something, and then walked away.
Okay,
and
so
I could not remember where I had put it.
Yeah, no, of course, no. I mean, I feel like we've all done a similar thing, but honestly, maybe it was the universe just trying to like redirect you. The face that you are giving me, the blankest of faces I've ever seen.
Maybe, but can I tell you a little bit more about that? Because I wrote, I had a whole thing that was just
go
about
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell the audience. Tell our
okay.
fans.
So, listen, fans. When I was going to make this movie, I had grand plans, and it was never going to work out. I had basically bitten off more than I can chew. I had my best friend, Zach Margolis, follow me around with a video camera documenting me making this movie.
Yes.
So I was shooting it on Super 8, and Zach had a High 8 digital video camera. And so at every shot, there was video of me setting it up and kind of lighting it and whatever, often not lighting it. And so the idea was that I was going to make this movie, this unsexy porn, and then in the lower right-hand corner, it was going to be the making of it.
Right. Okay.
So if at any point, so the audience was always going to be able to kind of take themselves out of the action.
I love that. That's very fun. So you were going to do this movie within a movie.
I was going to do a movie within a movie, but because the whole thing got derailed, and I was literally going to have to edit the film and then also edit the video.
Yeah.
And hit play on a VHS machine and start the film projector at the same time to do this thing because
yeah, that's how it was.
That's literally how it was going to be.
Does Zach still have that footage? Those little DVs or whatever? You have everything.
Yeah, I have everything. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I have there's more than one person who has offered to put it all together. I actually have one roll of undeveloped film of a party scene. It was the party scene. It was the interior of the party scene before the revelation of the backyard thing happened.
Yeah.
And it was all of these hipsters in Olympia hanging out. Basically, I threw a party in my friend's apartment, and I was just walking around with the camera, like a film camera, and I shot it in color.
Did you make any other movies?
Yeah,
you did.
I made a couple good movies. I made a movie about a kid who climbed up a tree and spied on his neighbors. But here's the thing: when I was a camp counselor in 1995, I rented out my room to this woman, and she was such a horrible person that my actual roommate of my 2-bedroom apartment moved out. And so this random person who drove my roommate out then had one of her friends move in, and they trashed the apartment and didn't pay rent. And when my landlord came by to see what the fuck was going on, he said, "You guys have 72 hours to get out of here." They had a yard sale and they sold all my shit.
Oh my God. I think I remember you talking about this.
Everything of mine just got thrown out.
Oh my God.
It was insane. And I was able to collect, find a bunch of my records and some of my furniture. Cause I sort of made a big deal out of this, obviously.
Yes.
To the look, cause Olympia's small,
I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate stories like that.
That person deserves their own episode. This amazing thing happened where, I made a list of all the things that were missing, and I went to her boyfriend's house, who was not a close friend, but an acquaintance of mine, and he was this really sweet guy. And I was like, "Oh, there's my chair. Can I have my chair back? Oh, there's a crate of my records. Can I have that back?" And so he's like, "Yeah, sure." Because he knew that it wasn't right for him to have it, because she had moved in with him when I moved back. I was standing in line for registration at Evergreen, so I was standing in line for my last year of college, and she was behind me in line to register. And I turned around and I go, "Oh, hey, I happen to have the list of all the things that you stole from me and their value. So if you could either give me all that stuff back or this amount of money, that would be great." And her response was, "I'm not afraid of you, Aaron Hartman. Stop threatening me. You need to get away from me. Stop it or I'll call the police."
This is not her first rodeo.
No.
No.
So.
She knows what to do. She knows how to weaponize her femininity. So. Damn. Well,
yeah,
should I go find her?
She did move to New York. I come back from a break from the real estate office I was working at in Williamsburg. And my friend who worked there goes, "Hey, an old friend of yours just came by looking for an apartment. And I'm going to help her find one."
No. Because
I had a business card that had my picture on it. That was like at the front door. And she's like, "Oh, I know that guy." And so she's like, this friend of mine at my office was like, "Do you know so-and-so?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's my enemy." And so my friend rented her an apartment. And I was like, "Is this the time that I put the shrimp in the
curtain rod?" Yeah.
In the curtain rod. But you know what? More mature than that now.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'll find her.
I know.
I'll go. I'll sneak in. Fuck her. Man, the Scorpio in me is real riled up.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
Anyway, so I made this porn.
Now we're past the porn. Now it's vengeance time.
I know. I love when Sadie was on and we were like, should this just be like a revenge podcast where we just like talk shit about every single person from high school?
Okay, but honestly, that this woman deserves the pain that she gets in whatever times.
Well, you're a good sister. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You got my back.
I'll make her uncomfortable in other ways.
Yeah.
I'll make my own porn. And I'll put her in it. And I'll make sure, and I'll have tracked her cycle. So I'll make sure she's on her period.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. I've been in a hot studio listening to my brother talk about his own porn. So you got to cut me some slack, everybody.
You get some slack. Yeah.
Well, I am sad that this was not the live.
This would have been a good one.
This would have been a really fun
It made sense
episode.
for this to be live, right?
Yeah, it would have been really fun. And our throngs of fans and family members would have felt both very elated and uncomfortable.
The fact that almost all of our entire family was in town, was in New York at this time of the attempted taping is so insane to think about, like me reading that with like your mom.
My mom. Our brother.
Our nephew.
Our sister-in-law. Although I feel like our sister-in-law would have been totally chill with it. But also, like, and you can cut this out or whatever, like, Grisha has seen my show with David many times. Yeah. So, and granted, ours is all fiction.
Well, this is fiction, too.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. 1000% fiction. Well, what a fun time we've had today. Has everybody else in the audience had a good time? Why are her tits out? Okay, thanks so much. Love you. Bye.
I love you too.
Or did you want to talk about the next episode? Is that a good way to end it?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Let's just talk real quick about what the next episode's going to be.
Okay. How much sex is there? Oh, there's a pause and a thought. There's a thinking and
none in this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Nope, none in this one. It's one of my favorite things I've ever written.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's fun, it's transitional, it's just and it kind of, I think, puts the story into the last section.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
Thanks for sweating it out with me.
Oh, come on. All right,
I love you. Bye.
Is it going to fuck up your little porno?
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. La Jolla Babylon is written, produced, and edited by Aaron Hartman, with music by Aaron Hartman, co-piloted by Katie Hartman, presented in association with Ruinous Media. We'd love to hear from you. You can find us on Instagram, or you can send us an old-timey email at lajollababylon@gmail.com. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Your 5-star rating and review will help others find this fucking podcast. To hear more episodes of this show or other Ruinous Media podcasts, please go to ruinousmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts.